Welcome, bienvenidos. This is Roxana from MetamorphosisRox, the place to go where you want more than tea. The place to be where you want more than tea. I can't even talk today. I'm having one of those days. But I want to get into it unless there's somebody else that we can talk about. So, let me make sure that I post this here. Even if one person shows up, that we can do a little back and forth. If not, I'll just delete this. Because there's so much going on everywhere right now. It's like, what is going on? And why is this so? I need to find a way of controlling the camera on this so that it doesn't look that yellow because, I don't mind because I actually look like I have color. But it's kind of weird in a way, too. It's like, what? What is happening? Hey, Millie. I'm amazed you're not watching, what's her face? She's not live streaming. I saw you. I think it was you, or maybe it wasn't. One of y'all was talking something about you're too lazy to do a threesome, and I lost it. Okay, what are you raging about? I want to know. Because I know why I am. And I know why I'm about to go on a rant, but I need interview. You're not going to get it. I'm about to go on a rant, ma'am. And it's not a funny one. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it like a rant. I am going to tell you guys the story of why this is so upsetting to me and why it's been a weird day for me. And I need to get it out of my chest because I have work tomorrow and I just don't want to go with that in my conscience. Not in my conscience, because it's not in my conscience, but weighing heavy like that. It's kind of hard. It is? Oh, come on. Only channel subscribe. It shouldn't, because I didn't put a 6-second thingy on it. And it's because I forgot, because like for subscribers, you have to be subscribed for 5 minutes in order to post a message. Post on the chat. And I usually put that whatever, but for some reason it says 5 minutes, so I guess I forgot to. What did she do now? Is this about her talking about threesome or something like that? If that is it, I really don't want that mental image on my head. Oh, well, if you do that, it should give me the message for me to, unless you actually deleted it. Because usually when you guys type a word that I have on the list, it will hold it and I have to okay it. That's the way it's supposed to work. Because if you have too many curse words, then they demonetize you. That's what I've been told. I don't know if that's true. Not drinking out of my bottle. Just so you all know. Hi, Molly. You made it. Awesome. All right. So do you guys want me to talk so that Millie has a chance to calm down? Because I guess Chantal got her in a bad mood. She keeps saying her essay, but then he didn't, and talking like we are crazy and don't follow her. Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm not going to talk about that because I really don't know. Here's the thing. I know people that depending on the hour of the day, they will, it's not so much that they're lying, it's that they change their story because they feel like they review it in their head and it goes, you know what I mean? Yes, or else it's not. All right, so here's the thing. I'm not going to talk directly about the situation that happened. We will. I don't know if you've noticed, but I am wearing my Depeche Mode shirt because, in honor of somebody. Fletch. Anyway, okay, so let me back up and then I'll tell you why I'm upset. Okay. And I'm going to try to do this as quick as possible because I don't want to be here too long, because I can't be here an hour and a half like yesterday. That's not possible. Anyway, so here's what happened. I want to say it was either 11 or 12 years ago when I moved there. My daughter, we moved here August, and she was still 17, so she had to wait until she was 18 to start working. For some reason here in Florida, they wouldn't let her work, even with my permission, until she turned 18. When she turned 18, she had been volunteering at the school. She became the lunch lady for that school. And it wasn't a full-time job, but she had a lot of responsibility because she knew every kid. The school was one of those charter schools, and for gifted children, and they were I think it was kinder to sixth grade, and she knew every single kid, and she knew, thank you, and she knew exactly which one had this allergy and which one had this other. I mean, it was impressive to me to watch her go. The thing, and she was 18. That's the part that always, like, I look back and I'm like, my gosh, she was 18 when she was doing this. But the bottom line is that the school is now in a beautiful campus about a mile away from where they used to be. But in the beginning, they had there was this elementary school that had closed, ironically, for having, I think it was asbestos, and they took the one segment of the school that was supposedly didn't have asbestos, and that's the site that they let the school use. It's the Department of Education of the state of Florida. Take it with them, don't take it with me. Anyway, bottom line is that this school was within walking distance of the airport in that town. It's a little airport, and they would have a lot of birds that would grace their landing strip. And the way they would get rid of the birds when they would fill up the landing strip and be in danger of messing with the planes and whatnot would be by shooting in the air. I think you know where I'm going with this. But the bottom line is that this particular day, they always called the schools in the area to make sure that everybody knew that they were shooting. But I guess this particular time, they forgot. They didn't say anything. They just started shooting in the sky for the birds to, like, get scared and get out. And the next thing I know, and I, mind you, I don't know any of this. I found all this out after. Next thing I know, I'm getting a text message telling me that she's going to be a little late because there's a lockdown in school. Now, for those of you who don't understand or don't know or don't have children and don't understand what a parent goes through, or it's not the same when it's your, and this is a lie, by the way. I'm just saying it because for some people it's true. For me, it's not. It's different when it's your kid. My daughter was 18, maybe 19. And she sends me a text message. I'm going to be late because we're in lockdown. And that's all. That's all I remember. Now, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should run over there or not run over there because she's telling me that I can't go anywhere near the building and all this other stuff. I went anyway. And ironically, because I don't pay attention to my phone when I'm driving, I didn't know that she had texted me back that the lockdown was off. So when I got there, everything was back to normal. Uh-huh. So the thing about it is that when this whole thing started with, just in case you guys don't know, I have family in Texas, and one of those people is a teacher. And as it turns out, I found out today, she's in that grade area. I mean, I knew she was elementary school teacher. What I didn't know is that she's a fourth grade teacher. And she was crying the whole day. She's in Texas. I didn't find out about the shooting until I want to say it was 5:30, 5:45 that day. and I automatically sent a text message, where is so and so? And I got an answer immediately. That's San Antonio. They're in Dallas. Don't worry about it. I'm like, do we have family in San Antonio? Because we used to have family in San Antonio. Oh, aren't you cute? Look at this. Which maybe I am. Oh, look. I'm a skink too. Interesting. I love this. Gotta love this. Here we go. I just want to make sure that I have your whole thing before I. Well, you don't have to worry about removing it. I'm going to remove it. Bye. Oh, you can keep on putting whatever you want. We're not going to see them. Hold on. Because I'm flying solo today, so. Actually, you know what? I shouldn't remove them because then freaking YouTube can't see it. Okay, if you see anything, make sure you take a screenshot before you do it, okay? You're a mod now. Friend who lives in that area and is raising her grandchildren. And I'm about to go into all of that. So this person who happens, thank you. This person who happens to be like, I want to say she's 10 years younger than me. She was absolutely, totally. But there's more. Because on that side of the family, and I'm pretty sure you guys know that I'm talking about my husband's side of the family. Because you've been here when I've been on trips to Texas. Those people include two of my nieces, one of whom is 6 months from my daughter. They're the same age. And all of those people have children who are either about to go to school. I have one in Georgia that is, I think she's in no, she's not in kindergarten yet, but she's going to. And all I'm thinking is, I don't want any of my babies to go to school right now. I don't. I honestly don't. I had told my daughter a year ago when we started talking about what would happen if she had decided that she wanted children, we had to live in the same state, not because I wanted to live like, I don't want her to keep living with me. I want her to get independent and get her own house, but I also want her to know that if she has a child, that child is not going to school. I will homeschool that child for her so that she can go to work, make her money. And since I'm basically, here. You know what bothers me? I'm going to tell you a couple of things that bother me. When I was growing up, I don't know you guys how this works. Not only do I not know wherever you're from, but I also don't know, like, because, for example, Molly's not even in the States. And I don't know, Millie, you were raised here, right? You weren't raised on the island. Because this is the thing. When I was kinder, first, second, and third, I was in public school. I don't remember ever doing, no. Now that I think about it. In third grade, I did it once. I remember that. But once we went to private school, every month we had a fire drill. Every freaking month. So did you have fire drills in your school? The reason why I'm asking you is because I don't know. I know most private schools did it. I don't know that public schools did it. I don't think they ever did. And now I'm thinking about my daughter. I don't remember my daughter telling me about doing fire drills. So the thing about it is that we would do fire drills. Let me tell you what the monsters were when I was in school. I remember this vividly. The first time I walked into the private school, the first thing I noticed is that we had this round circles. We had these circles with this like emblem because we were a bomb shelter. The school was a bomb shelter. Now, that might be part of the issue because the public schools that I went to, one of them was cement, the other one was made out of wood. And then the public school was cement, and it was the hard cement. But I've always thought that the paint was probably had that thing asbestos, because not asbestos, the thing, because the we used to take I used to take and just spend hours ripping the paint off. This is just wrong. So you did go to fire drill. So you know what that is. Now, let me explain something to y'all. When you live in Puerto Rico, it is 95 degrees and these people decide to do a fire drill. And keep in mind that you're trying to stay away from buildings. So you're walking into the middle of a parking lot with cement on the floor is cement, not cement, brea. I don't know how to call brea in English. Um, Whatever you call the stuff that's made, the roads are made of, the black stuff, tar. You have tar on the floor, which of course is black, which means it's going to be hotter yet. And yeah, not fun. But we would do it every month. Now, I do remember one time it was out of like, we were like, damn, didn't we just have a fire drill last week or something like that? And the asphalt, yeah. So the thing about it is that the reason why we had two back to back was because the seniors decided to pull a prank on the school. We used to call them cherry bombs. I don't know how you call them here, but it's basically what it's called. It's kind of like a little bomb. It's just supposed to make smoke. It's not supposed to do anything worse than that. But brilliant boy, and I know exactly who did it because 30 years later I found out who did it. I knew who the group was, not the actual person who did it. They ended up not having graduation ceremony, and they got their degree, their certificate, but they never graduated officially because the principal said no. So the thing about it is that whoever brilliant was decided to take the girls' bathroom and drop it in the toilet, which made a complete disaster out of the whole thing, and that's why we got the fire alarm, the whole 9 yards. That was the scariest thing we went through the whole entire. I was in private school from fourth grade to the last year of high school, so that's 8 years. I went to public school before that. I was in public school kinder, first, second, and third, so that's 4 years. I never had, ever, never had anything scarier than that. Now, I guess it's called a type of firecracker. Yeah, I think it's one of it's considered a firecracker, but it's not really because it's like, it doesn't really blow up so much as it just smokes. You know what I mean? A smoke bomb. Yeah, that sounds like a right thing. So, so fast forward to, Columbine happens, and then Sandy Hook happens, and I have my daughter working in the school that I'm telling you about, and these kids are getting drills, but their drills involve learning how to deal with a nut job coming into your school with a gun. And the part that gets me, and I can't take credit for this because I read it, I was thinking about other aspects of it, but this person had it so, and I didn't save the screenshot because I'm trying to get rid of screenshots. And this person said something that was absolutely true. This person said, so after Sandy Hook, we decided we're going to make things change. So we're giving kids the training to avoid and withstand. So we left it at the hand of the children to survive shootouts. Why? You're talking about a state. Which one? The one about I'm gonna get into it with this particular school. If you're talking about the parents, yes, I saw it. You have a situation where you have a state, which is the state of Texas, where it is illegal to have an abortion. And the excuse for doing this is supposedly because of the children, but there is no protection for the children. In order for you to get a driver's license, you require some things. But if you're 18 years old in the state of Texas, you can walk in and just buy whatever you want, gun wise. What else? You need. It's unreal for me. You have a situation. Yeah, pro-life my ass. You have a situation where nobody wants to take responsibility for what happened. You have a man that allegedly was shooting for 12 minutes straight before he went into the school. Then you have idiot Ted Cruz saying that it was because a teacher left the door open. Because yes, let's blame the victims for what happened to them. My question is, since I don't know about you all, but I grew up in an age where there was this little sign in front of the school. I think it was called Rule 30. I don't know. I don't know if it's the same in Puerto Rico than it is in the States. I believe it's okay. That's the wrong phone, so never mind. I'm waiting for a phone call, but that's the wrong one. That's a spam call, according to this. Um, you have a situation where yes, get your drink on. Um, you have a situation where we had this little sign in front of the school that said that during school hours you could not go into the school. I don't know about you all, but we respected that. We would not go anywhere except for maybe the office. And the office is when you went into the school, and I remember this from my daughter's high school. You would first of all you had to walk through this whole area because it was the middle school and then the high school. At the end where the entrance to the high school was, there was a gate with a cop, and usually the security guards were cops that were off duty or retired. They would take your information and then they would escort you to the front, and because all the gates are closed you couldn't get in until he came back to his post. Okay, then in the office they would decide if they would let you walk through the classroom, which was usually no, and you would come out. We had a respect for those rules. We would not, I never saw somebody go into that any of the schools that my daughter was in. I'm gonna never. I never saw that. My daughter did it opposite of me. I started in public school, ended up in private school. She started up in the private school that I went to, and then I moved her. So she graduated from 6th grade, 9th grade, and 12th grade in public school. Ninth and no, I'm sorry, ninth and 12th, because I moved her when 6th grade, when 7, the intermediate, that's when I sent her to middle school, is what you guys call it. When she went to middle school, I moved her to public school. And the thing about it is that both public school and private school had the same setup. You go to the office, and then they would decide if you were going to a classroom or not. 9 times out of 10, it was a no. We had a respect for those things. Ooh, good. What are you cooking? If little white children were slaughtered and nothing was done, it never would be. I know that I'm getting there. I'm gonna get there. So the thing about it is, but you have to tell us what you're making too. So the thing about it was that, yeah, let's blame everybody. You have a person shooting 12 minutes in front of the school, nothing happens. Why did it take them more than 12 minutes to get there? Then they spent an hour waiting for this person to do what he's going to do, because they were all in there. There were 19 cops in the hallway of the school. And then the governor, the bigger whataboutism, and I will take no responsibility for anything. I am appalled I have been deceived by what happened in the school. No. Because if your gun laws weren't so lax, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Or at least 19 kids wouldn't be dead. The next day, I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter, but the next day, In another school in Texas, there was a kid with an AK-47 and an AR-15 in his car. According to what has been discovered, there were this kid had been arrested 4 years prior for him and a friend for planning a school shooting. You mean to tell me you arrested this kid and you didn't keep an eye on him for the last 4 years? What the hell? Yeah, and for what I'm understanding, from what I saw right before I came in here, tricolor couscous, orange chicken, and salad. I can't eat the couscous, but that sounds delicious. I love couscous. I just can't have it. The Border Patrol stepped in after arguing with them for a while. That's what I just found out. Now, let's add to that the fact that the parents were outside screaming at them to do something, and one of them was tasered, and two of them were arrested. And let's add insult to injury and have the husband of one of the two teachers that passed away go and put flowers on the makeshift thing that they did in front of the school, and less than 12 hours later die of a broken heart, literally. But I'm not supposed to be upset about this. And absolutely, y'all know what's coming because I am going to say it. Absolutely. All of this stalling and this, I'm afraid of a kid with an AR-15, even though I am armed and so are all my other 18 friends. All of this is because those kids were brown. If those kids would have been white, they would have gotten the guy before he killed all 21 people. He died of a broken heart. Yeah. He had le dio un ataque al corazón fulminante. That's literally what that is. And if you see the video of him putting flowers on the makeshift memorial for her and for the others, you can tell that this man's blood pressure is through the roof because he's not, she was lighter skinned than he was. And you can tell that he's a couple of tones redder than normal because I saw pictures of him with her. You can tell he's kind of red, like holding it in. And the youngest is 13, the oldest is 23. They had 4 children, and those 4 children now have no mom and no dad. And I'm sure some people are going to say, wow, at least they were older and blah, blah, blah. I have news for you. I was 49 when I lost my dad. I was 54 when I lost my mom. And there's not a day goes by that I don't feel like an orphan, like a 5-year-old without parents. So I cannot imagine what a 13, 18, 23-year-old is going through right now, especially the way they died. Because at least my parents were sick, so I knew they were going to die. And by the way, no, you're never ready for that. You always think some miracle's going to happen right before, you know. So, yeah. But I'm supposed to sit here and not. And then the worst part of this, the amount of people that have come to white-splain the situation. Because I have a gun and I would have done something. And I'm like, that's funny because there were 19 cops there and none of them did anything. Oh, well, you people are talking because you've never had a gun. And I'm like, and I told the person that, because the person that I was talking to is actually a teacher here in the States. And we were just comparing notes about how stupid this idea of giving teachers guns is. Because let's look at it. If you give a teacher a gun, did you see what happened to the Buffalo shooter? He was experienced and he's dead. Not the shooter, the cop. You had 19 cops in there, and not one of them wanted to approach the subject. What makes you think that you, with your bravado, are gonna do anything different? You're a teacher. You have kids in your. Why is it your responsibility to make sure that those kids are alive? You have the possibility if they're young, you forget, you leave your purse, someone, God forbid, one of those kids grabs that gun. Doesn't matter the age of the child. You have a shootout situation. There's crossfires, and between you injuring the shooter and whatnot, you actually injure a kid. What then? You have high schools where the kids attack their teachers. What do you think is going to happen if they know that their teacher has a gun? All of these things are going through our head while some white lady is like yelling at us basically because we don't know what we're talking about. And I'm sitting there like, you know what cracks me up about this? On the one hand, on the one hand, certain white people think that black and brown people are stupid. We don't know how to handle guns. We don't know how to do anything. We need them white savior to protect us. On the other hand, they say that the only reason why areas where there's a lot of black and brown are as bad as they are is because of the crime, because black and brown people are criminals. Which one is it? I'm tired of this. Why civilians need automatic one? Yeah. At the end, I just, I blocked her and I kept on going because I don't need this. Millie, say the story. Tell the story. Look, I'm gonna be called. This is the part that cracks me up. I'm gonna be called racist by Latinos because hi, Amy, because you probably know who I'm talking about, Millie, and by Latinos and Black people that hate my guts. So they're probably gonna call me racist for attacking White Walkers, while these people are literally licking the behind of a racist white person who is their new savior because their old savior, who was also a racist, is no longer available. I can't win for losing, so tell your story. And notice that as soon as they found out I don't know if you noticed this, and I am going to say it because nobody else is. I don't know if you noticed that as soon as they saw a picture of what the shooter looked like, all of a sudden he had mental health issues because he looked white. And here's my issue. After you guys saw the videos, you know what I'm talking about. I'm 55 years old. I've lived on and off with what do you call this, bullying all my life. I have yet to say, you know what, I'm gonna go on a shooting spree because the people don't deserve to live. I would like to think that if I go to that level of stupid, I would want to shoot the bullies and not innocent little children. I mean, that would be my logic. If this kid was bullied when he was young and he was going and he had all these issues, because remember this, on the one hand, you had politicians talking about the fact that the school shootouts were because of lockdown, because I guess we've had lockdowns for the last 20 years. Um, and I mean, not even 5 minutes later, you would have some of these same politicians saying he was bullied. And this is both the left and the right because at this particular point, they all say that kind. But here's the thing, Amy. I agree with you. I don't think any sane person would start go on a shooting spree. But when you talk about insanity as a defense in a trial, what insanity basically means is that you're incapable of making decisions. For example, somebody that has schizophrenia and thinks he's seeing things that are not there or talking to things that are not there. That is a legitimate insanity defense. A person that is depressed or that has anxiety or that has PTSD, and maybe in some cases PTSD because they have delusions, but a normal human being who is just depressed doesn't have any kind of delusions, which would be one of the defenses for insanity plea. um that person is not insane but in the eyes of the law and needs to go to trial, but they killed him because Latino. So when was safe his cousin but went down with his brother, none were hold on. I skipped. So a few Latin boys were swimming in a river. Long story short, two brothers died. Took police more than an hour to get there. Wow. To the point the brother saved his cousin but went down with his brother. None were more than 14 and most were 9. And yeah, you can blame parents, but bro, search took more than an hour. Also, the river is like under a highway pass, so it's common for people to fish. It's not like these kids were crazy and went to deep waters. Oh my God. That is crazy, Millie. Oh man. But here's the thing. And Tanisha was the one who noticed this. I didn't notice this in the beginning, but then I was like, yeah, she's right. Um, in the beginning, hi Renee, how are you? In the beginning, when this whole thing started, everybody was like, "Oh my God, the cops did such a great job, and they're heroes." And I don't know if you saw the NRA statement, but they were like, "Oh my God, they're heroes." The only heroes here were the two teachers who sacrificed their lives for their kids. Didn't think about it twice. They didn't have guns. Okay, they just stood there in front of their kids, trying to avoid their kids from getting killed. Now, notice that the people who backed the blue were criticizing the cops. Now, I criticize the cops, but I also don't back the blue. But there was a lot of back the blue people who were like, "Oh, the cops didn't do the." And then Tanisha decided to go and take a look at the picture of the department involved, and most of them were brown. At which point she realized why they were being so mean. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Because you see, the people who back the blue, they only do it for political purposes. And whenever a cop does the right thing and they are not in agreement with it, like, for example, help a black person or um, stop an insurrection, all of a sudden the cops are bad guys. See, here's my thing, in my opinion, and this is something that somebody said, and I just sat there like, no. This person said, how was it that they said it? Hold on, because I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, the way they said it was that it was not a cop's job to give their life in protecting civilians. Then what the hell are they here for? And if you're wondering what I'm looking for because I actually took the police oath and I posted it on Twitter so that people can go and complain to my ass. Where is it? I know I posted it. Oh my God, where is it? It's a big blue thingy that I posted. Where is it? Did I not post it? I thought I posted it. No, I don't want to remember that. Okay, I went too far because I just found the Ray Liotta quote. But where is the cop one? Crap. Where did it go? Maybe it was an answer to somebody. That's why I can't find it. Hold on, because I think it's in replies. The way they were holding the parents back in the video. Oh, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm getting there. Hold on a second moment. Can only go so fast. Hold on. Because I'm looking for the thing image over. I took out the oath of the cops because I thought it was important to use actual evidence. And the quote says, my God, those boobs look so big in that picture. All day, every day, because if you don't see the insanity in this point, it's because you don't want to. Yep. Absolutely agree with you. Here we go. On my honor, this is the law enforcement oath of honor. Okay. They have to take an oath just like doctors. On my honor, I will never betray my integrity, my character, or the public trust. What the hell do you think the trust is? My trust is that you're going to protect me at all costs. And if that means you're going to give your life for me, yeah, that's what it means. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. Have you seen that in the last 24 hours from that police department? I will always maintain the highest ethical standards and uphold the values of my community and the agency I serve. I didn't see any of that. Why they were holding their parents back. Okay, so let's get to the parents now. Now, I mentioned before that one of them was tasered and there was two that were arrested because they wanted to go and get their kids out. How exactly do you think that's right to for you to taser a parent that is asking you that is willing to do what you're not willing to do? And by the way, I actually saw the video where this woman is telling them, "I'll go in, I don't care," and they didn't let her go in. Not that I would have let her go in, but you know what? That would be my like my slap on the face to react and go, you know what? We need to go in there and save the kids. Not everyone is perfect. I understand that, Amy, but you had 19 cops in there. One of them should have reacted and said, no, you know what? We need to go in because he's going to keep killing people. The fact that a border patrol had to go in and fight with them so he could take the kid out is all the evidence that you need that they were not doing what they were supposed to do. Oh, and I agree with you. Not all police are. The problem is when the police that are not bad guys cover for the other ones. If they speak out, which I've seen a million times, I haven't seen anything on this yet, but I have seen cops talk, and say, no, this is not the way. I'm incorrect. I saw a guy explaining in one of the posts on Twitter that their training is that they let's say you're the first person that gets there, they have to wait for a second person, so basically they can go back to back so that one of them has the back of the other one, and then they go in and they proceed. That's it. Two people. These people had 19 who had no problem tasering and arresting the parents but couldn't go in there and take that guy out. And if the truth is that they were afraid of an AR-15, then it's more the reason for you to tell the politicians that claim they love you so much that they need to take AR-15s off the market. See, no matter what lie they tell, every single lie they've told, I don't care if it's not safe. Amy, that's not my. Okay, Amy, the cops know when they take the job, at least they did in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s, that when you take that job, it means that you go in and guess what? You might die. Ask the people on 9/11 if they went in thinking that they were going to come back out. It's the same for the fire department. You go in, you might not come out. It is what it is. It's the job. That's the job. If you cannot do that job, then you don't volunteer to be a police officer. Simple as that. Because if every cop is going to be afraid of confronting the bad guy, then you know why? Why am I paying your salary? Because you're not going to do anything. 40 minutes. Yeah, that's the other thing. It was 40 minutes. You heard. And the best part about this is when the guy says the guy that was doing the press conference this morning goes, well, the commander thought that that the kid was controlling one area, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, with 19 children that he proceeded to kill. Yeah, and that is the reality. That is the absolute So you don't see what she's saying? Yeah, because that happens to me with some people that I'm not gonna name. That if they post somewhere, I don't see it. You know what? I just realized that I have this on top chat, not on the full chat, so I don't see everything that's happening. Sorry. Oh, the parents shouldn't have gone in. Absolutely. But my issue is if you are going to arrest parents and taser parents because they want to go in because it's not safe, then you just prove the point of why you're there and why you're supposed to go in there. Which again, they went to the hallway and they sat there for 40 minutes and they heard this kid kill 21 people and did nothing. I don't know about you, but I don't care what kind of job I have. I hear gunshots, which I'm familiar with the sound of gunshots because I used to live in a neighborhood where that's all you heard all the time. And yeah, and you know that people are dying and you're doing nothing. I'm sorry, you're not supposed to be a cop. I want them all to resign because here's the confusion. Scalia, I think is the name of the judge. He's dead now. He made a ruling on the Supreme Court saying that cops were not culpable. And here is the distinction for those of you who are like wondering what the hell. If you're a cop and you're in the middle of a situation and people get shot and you are the bad guy, accidentally kill somebody while you're doing your job, the officer is not culpable. I can understand that. I can actually understand that. Okay. If it was in the process and there's crossfire and whatnot and somebody dies, I can absolutely understand that. What I cannot understand is somebody not doing anything for 40 minutes and you expecting me not to find them culpable because they absolutely are. And if that distinction was not made when Scalia passed that ruling, then it's time to take that ruling down. Period. Puerto Rico, baby, we sleep at the sound of gunshots. Yeah. And let me tell you something. I used to live, give me a second because this is a reference that only Puerto Ricans will understand. I used to live in Atorrey in, okay, está La Milla de Oro, and then you have the bridge, the Teodoro Moscoso, that area in between those two. In fact, you would get on the highway, like I would ride like for 2 minutes, get in the highway, and I would be like the next, I think it was the next exit or the next to next exit was the Teodoro Moscoso. And then on the other side, I had La Milla de Oro about 2 blocks from my house. I lived, si tú sabes dónde está la UP en Rio Piedra, like I can't remember. I want to say no, it's not La Ponce de Leon. It's the one that comes out. That avenue was the avenue to go to my house, and I would pass the bridge where you would get on the highway to go to the. You would have La UP behind, right here behind me. You would cross the bridge that for the street that takes you to Teodoro Mocoso, and then after that bridge, my house would be right there. That's considered a torre. I and I was warned too by the neighbors because we were renting an apartment there, and the neighbors told me, "Well, the big bichota here was just arrested, so for the next year we should be okay. But when he gets out, we're screwed." Sure enough, the guy got out 18 months later, and every freaking day there was gunshots every freaking day. I don't know, Renee, because I would tell you one thing: if I was a cop and I had just lived through that, I would probably not be okay. The cops weren't doing anything. Yeah. Absolutely, Amy. The cops should be able to do their job, but they didn't do it. And that's the problem. Uh-huh. But it so happens that when I moved there, the guy, the big dog was in jail. And I am assuming his entire crew was in jail. So there was no real fight. So we didn't, I mean, the first 18 months there were awesome. And then he got out of jail. And that was like, and then to finish it off, you know how Christmas is. He got off, I think it was for Thanksgiving. So all the way from Thanksgiving, tiro, tiro, y más tiro. And then to finish it off, we kept hearing this person that would be like in the middle of the night, she would be begging her husband not to beat her up. And we wouldn't hear him beat her up, but we would hear her screaming. So we knew she was getting beat up. But I couldn't figure out where the sound was coming from. And the owner of the house where we live, they live downstairs and then they rented the apartments upstairs, and they were getting a little apartment on the back of their house ready for renting. And but then he had this disease, I can't remember what it was, but the bottom line is he passed away. That's when we found out who was the screaming lady and who was beating her up. Yep, because it stopped when he died. We didn't know it was her, and I didn't recognize the screaming. So, because if I would have recognized the screaming, I would have called the cops. But I didn't call the cops because I didn't know where the sound was coming from. Because it didn't sound like it was coming from down. It sounded like it was coming from behind the because I remember at least twice that I stood the way the apartment was set up. We had bedroom, 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 and then we had a little alcove where the laundry machines were. And I would stand there and it would sound like it was coming from the other side. So I couldn't tell, but it was him. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't miss that part. And then when we moved to Dorado, because we bought a house in Dorado, Dorado had always been peaceful. But when we moved there, it started getting really bad. And when there were several tiroteo near where my daughter had to walk to go to school and stuff, that's when I said it's time to go. As soon as she graduated from high school, we left. Wow. But here's the thing, Millie. Depending on which town you live in, El Caserío is like more peaceful than the rest of the town. Because in Dorado, El Caserío was really peaceful. We didn't have problems in the Caserío in Dorado. Guanica's Caserío was like the best looking buildings in the freaking town. And for you guys that don't know, the Caserío are the low income housing. They look like little apartment complexes, but they're like low income houses. No, that's not the name. That's not the name. That name doesn't ring a bell, so I don't know. Are you talking about Guanica or Dorado? Because the one in Dorado has a really long name. Like it has like how Puerto Ricans are. We use like all 400 or 500 names. But yeah, it was one of those things. Did Molly leave or is she eating? Do we know? I think she left because there's only three of us. So that would be Millie, Amy, and Renee. I'm saying in Ponce I live. Okay, 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 okay. I always thought that was a French name for some reason. Xavier? I don't know why. It sounded like a French name. Yeah, the Ponce one was bad. But there was low income housing that was actual houses. Before they had Plan Ocho, there was low income housing that was houses that was really nice. That one I didn't have a problem with. But the yeah. Oh, you're still cooking? Sorry. I'm almost done. I just wanted to shoot the sheet because I have to work tomorrow and I want to be in a good mood. I'm hoping y'all have to pray for 10 sales. I need 10 sales. I actually would like 20, so pray for 20. Wouldn't know I'm poor. Girl, let me tell you something. Let's talk about this for a second before I leave because I want to make something very clear to all of you. I just paid my rent, right? I have $5 left for the next 2 weeks, except for whatever I get paid tomorrow and whatever I get paid next Saturday. Um, what people don't understand is I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. It's a nice size, but right now I'm getting rid of stuff, so I still live in like a dungeon. But it's a nice size apartment. I can't complain about the size. What I'm complaining about is the fact that 5 years ago when I moved there, it was $1,400. If you raise, I'm sorry, 5 years, 4 years. No, this one, no, no, no. I'm sorry. I'm saying that wrong. We moved into this apartment complex 5 years ago and it was $1,300. If every apartment I've ever lived in, they raised the price by $50 to $100 a year. So by that logic, if it was 13 and you're paying $50, the first year we were here, the raise was $50. The first year it was $50, so it's 1350. The next year it was $50, so now we're at $1,400. If you keep on going that way, that means we should be paying $1,615, right? Because that would be 5 years, $50 a year. You know what I mean? I'm paying $1,900 a month for a 2 bedroom, but I'm going to it. So my daughter and I started looking for, because my husband's working from home. The easiest way is for my daughter and I to go because of because she gets out when she works on during the week. She gets out at 4:30, so we still have about an hour before the place is closed when you go to check for rent. We went to a place. It was $1,100 for a 3 bedroom, but in order for us to qualify, we had to be making $8,000 less than what we make, which means only one person in the house would be able to be working. And then I would get a 3 bedroom for 1,100. We went to another place where the rent is $1,300, but we couldn't go and see the apartments because the person was showing the apartment to somebody else, and basically they're telling you to go and make an appointment. And I can't make an appointment because from one week to the other, I don't know when my daughter's going to be free. So unless you can give me an appointment for tomorrow when I know my daughter's free, I can't do it. We're trying to find a 3 bedroom because, it's three of us, and I would like my husband to have his own room where he can work instead of being in the living room. But yeah. And the biggest problem is when you get all these people complaining about whatever you do. If you have not GoFundMe, PayPal and Venmo and all this other stuff, when I go on and tell you guys I need money for something, it's because I need it. If you come to my house right now, my car is from 2009. So how old is that? We're in 2022, so the car is 13 years old, more or less. Right there. That's falling off, and I can't afford to go to the dentist. I just talked to my neighbor she works in a dental office, and she was like, I thought you told me you were going to call the office. And I'm like, I can't go yet because I need to find money so I can afford to get my tooth fixed. The glasses, you all know these glasses are 14, 15 years old. I can't see. I have a whiteboard right there. I can't see what it says. I can't. And that's my life. But I'm a scam artist. It's one of those things that you sit here and you go, if you look at the stuff that I bought for the channel, the only reason why I didn't give up on the channel was because I bought so much shit for the channel. I bought a gimbal. I bought the GoPro. I bought a whole bunch of stuff so I could do better videos. And obviously it's for the other channel. But I did all this other stuff because I wanted to invest in the channel. Urgent care doesn't take care of tooth or eyeballs. And yes, they charge up the yin yang. Well, the thing about it is that when my husband has military insurance because he was in the military, but because he didn't serve the full 20, I don't qualify. You have to have back in for our group, you have to have we asked and they told us that no, because he didn't work the whole 20 years. Yeah. And the more we think about it, the more we wish he would have, because he served for 9. So, yeah. And mind you, if he would have served the 20, then he would be making an extra $1,000 a month, which would put us in a spot where we could afford a 3 bedroom no matter what the price, and we wouldn't have a problem. And then if you try to buy a house, like I was explaining to my friends from the UK, if you try to buy a house, even though I'm paying $1,900 a month in rent, I don't qualify for a house that pays more than $1,400 a month. And because of the bubble we're in right now, good luck finding a house that is in good shape. I don't even need a new house. I just need a house. Yeah, not happening. Yeah. So that's my life right now. So I'm going to keep on making content. I just released a video this morning. I am going to really keep making content. I am going to keep working in the farmers market every Saturday. I am going to keep on praying and hoping for a miracle. But the truth of it is, and it's really funny because people say, "Oh, you just think you're famous." No, I just want to be able to help out around the house. Because even though I'm walking and I'm actually jogging now, I am incapable of staying in a spot for 8 hours a day. It's just not something I can do. It is what it is. We can talk later. I'm not gonna say anything online, but I'll explain to you later because I just remember I have to go and get the cash still. So I'm gonna go now. Oh, yes, 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 you are. Yes, you are. You are. I forgot about that. I haven't started doing that yet because we had a little change in plans in terms of we want to do a lot more than I want to get rid of at least half of the books I have. And but I also want to read some of them before I start selling them. And there's in English and there's in Spanish. And the Spanish ones have to do with Puerto Rico history, specifically with the abuses that Puerto Rican people have lived through. Maybe one day I'll do a video about that, but I'll do it in the Spanish channel because I have a ton of books that my dad bought that I don't think he ever read about stuff that happened in Puerto Rico, and he knew because he lived through it. So, but he wanted to see, you know what I mean? So, yeah. I'll make a video about that and I'll post it on the Spanish channel if I can ever find the keyword so I can get back in the channel. Anyway, I'm gonna go now because I'm wondering why this woman hasn't called me. But yeah, we can talk more about. I do have poem books, but they're in Spanish. Those are definitely in Spanish. I have a book I have to sell. I have to find it first, but it's really interesting because it's these two writers that were corresponding with each other, and it's the letters between it's really interesting. And she was a she was a poet, and I write poetry, but I don't pay attention to any of the stuff that she paid attention to. And it's really fascinating to see what a pain in the ass it was to write poems when you follow the rules. It's amazing. So, but then again, usually poets know their poems. I have written millions of poems and I don't remember one. So you'll butt them. I got you. Have a very nice Memorial Day weekend. I'm not planning on coming back this weekend, but actually I'm not. I don't know when I'm coming back. I'll come back whenever. But y'all have a great weekend. Thank you for keeping me company, and I'll see you when I see ya. And Millie, I'll send you an email in a little bit. Bye. A DM. Sorry. Bye.